Hello and welcome to the Turnaround Talk Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Marcia Tepperman, the creator of the Turnaround Method. And in this show, me and my guests will have fascinating conversations on how to use adversity as a springboard for a thriving life. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how sobriety can transform your life and vitality. And my guest is Susan Whitby. Susan is a mother of two, an archeologist, physical anthropologist with a master's in lifestyle medicine. She's also a personal trainer based in the northern beaches of Sydney, Australia. Hello, Susan, and thank you for being in the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. Susan, do you want to share with us a little bit about your journey and why are you here today talking to us about this topic?
I'm super passionate about lots of things really, but I really want to talk about sobriety because who knew that life could be so good sober? It really ignites your life force and your vitality, and I feel that in society today, especially in mummy culture where rosé all day is the done thing, I feel like that message is not heard and that opportunity is not given to a lot of women who might be looking for a bit of vitality. So I just want to put it out there to say that alcohol is a depressant and it wrecks your nervous system, and in the long term not good. It dulls your vitality, even though that's kind of the crutch that so many people are looking for.
And as an anthropologist and a physical archaeologist with a master's in lifestyle medicine, I know that you have researched the effects of lifestyle in the bodies. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that's super fascinating.
So many. Like, chronic diseases are what most people experience these days, even though we're in the sort of COVID pandemic. But what we really see from this acute disease that we've got with the COVID is how all our lifestyle factors really affect our ability to cope with a disease. And mental health is a chronic disease. It's classified as a chronic disease. So lifestyle factors really play into that. And there's just so many different things that are all interwoven that can really affect your vitality. And it's not just what you eat and what exercise you do. There's many more complex layers. And for women, I feel that there's a whole nother level of what happens with our sexuality that plays into those lifestyle factors, which then kind of plays into your health. And I feel like this sexuality needs to be brought out more and more and more, and so we can really see the effects, the positive effects that really looking after all these different factors can have on your health.
Wow. So I know that as a personal trainer, you sometimes feel limited in how you can help women, because this is an area that women are not usually discussing with a personal trainer, but you could help them so much as well.
It's a really interesting dilemma. It's like being a personal trainer gets you to this point, and then so often the longer I work in the industry, the more I could see that women's sexuality and their nervous system was affecting what results they were getting. But to go into that area then requires, to refer onto a sexologist or someone of more kind of a different training. And people don't really want to make that, it can be an uncomfortable transition to be like, well, I actually experienced a whole bunch of sexual trauma, or, I feel like every woman has experienced sexual trauma in some way in their life, or there's a stigma attached. Like, if I'm too beautiful, then, that causes a whole bunch of problems. There was whatever was happening in my childhood that can affect how your body is going to process food or your exercise. So I don't know, it was not my area of expertise to go there, but I could see that needed to be referred to, and I think the conversation needs to be had about sexuality. It really needs to be brought forward.
And what do you think that what's the role that alcohol play for women who have issues with sexuality, like in your experience in the fitness space, and in Australia? I mean, tell me a little bit more about, even like as a young woman growing in Australia, the relationship with alcohol. Because one of the things that I'm not judging here, but it was to me very different when I moved here and I had my first baby, mothers groups, dinners. We had one bottle for each person on the table. And I often would drink maybe 1 or 2 glasses. And I felt that was quite different for me. And I know that you have experienced similar things, and there's like what's socially acceptable in terms of drinking as well. So talk to us a little bit more about that, your journey from being a young woman in Australia, and then how you quit drinking. Let's start there. How about
okay.
There's so many things to talk about.
Totally. So I mean, I grew up in country New South Wales, where the goal was to drink until you like fell over or vomited. Like that's pretty standard. And let's say I was successful in that for a very long time. I've always been a big drinker. And you know, lots of sad times came out of that. You don't kind of realize how alcohol affects your nervous system, affects all your internal organs, how your vagus nerve, which attaches from your bum to your brain, it goes through all those internal organs. All of those are inflamed with alcohol, and that will affect your mental health. So all of those things over so many years, and just kind of the behaviour that goes with being drunk, which then creates a whole bunch of other issues that you don't really need all together. But eventually I drank so much, well, not even so much, I drank a socially acceptable amount of alcohol, which caused my body to be acidic enough to have a flare-up of Helicobacter pylori, which is a bacteria that 60% of people have in their gut or in their stomach, and it just flared up and it caused ulcerations in my stomach. Oh, so gross. So much pain, just so much pain. So I had to stop drinking because of that. You have to take crazy antibiotics for that. But it was a wonderful wake-up call. It was a wonderful wake-up call to say, that's enough now, like, that's enough.
Yeah. So tell me, how much was the socially acceptable amount of alcohol that you were drinking? Because I know it's a difference to you to stop drinking. So tell me more about that amount first.
Yeah, okay. So a socially acceptable amount, look, is anywhere between a couple of glasses to a bottle, you know, in one sitting. And, you know, you could go through a bottle of champagne at Christmas, whatever. Like, it's a lot of alcohol when you think about it, and you do that a couple of times a week. That's embarrassing, but not unusual. That's how you wind down, isn't it? After you've picked the kids up from school, you go and have some rosé or whatever, and then kind of numb your way through the evening. So to say that you've stopped drinking, people think you're an alcoholic, which is actually just a self-defined condition anyway. But I want to kind of talk also about the fact that you don't have to be drinking in the shower to want to not drink so much. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, I'm totally fine, you know, I can't remember, or, you know, I fell over, that's totally fine, but I'm not an alcoholic. And that's true, right? But there's a lot of grey area where people are drinking just way too much, but they don't know how to stop because it's socially acceptable. And there's so much stigma about saying, I don't drink, because everybody's like, well, if you don't drink, that means you must have been an alcoholic. And I'm like, I wasn't an alcoholic. I just didn't want to drink anymore. Got sick of having a hangover. I got sick of having, you know, that dull head. I got sick of being short with my kids all the time. I just got sick of it. I thought there's got to be a better way than this, right? And there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you said that sometimes that the problem is in admitting that you are drinking a bit too much with people who drink about the same amount as you, so you don't find that support to stop, even
Oh
if
my
you
God.
want it.
It was like somebody had died when I gave up alcohol. I got hugged, I got, commiserations, I got condolences. People just couldn't believe it. People were always still just trying to give me alcohol. Go and have a sip. Yeah, just people can't handle it. And the other really interesting thing with alcohol is that as soon as you say, I don't drink, people more often than not tell you the reason why they do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, I really like drinking and it's really good for me. And you're like, okay, sure. It happens with no other thing that you do. You're not like, a bag of Cheezels and someone's like, oh, well, I like to eat Cheezels too because, really feel it relaxes me. Really unusual. And it's difficult to take because you have to be strong enough in yourself to have people always say that your opinion of your health is not correct.
Yeah. And it's like in some ways, people may sort of think you look down at them because you're not drinking. So they're trying to justify.
Yeah.
As well. There's that, like, even if you don't want to drink as much as other people, that can be sometimes something that people just don't feel comfortable around you as much because you're not drinking as much as them. So that's a lot of challenges.
It's really confronting for both. Yeah. It doesn't have to be. Yeah.
Yes. So tell me a little bit more about what happened then since you stopped drinking. How has your life transformed?
Oh my God, if you only knew, if I could just take people from where they are now to in a year's time and say, just have like a whole day of the vitality that you have when you were sober. You think that and it's insane. Oh, it's so good. It's just so good. And it does take a while. It does take a while because to get to a place of clarity and daily vitality. But by God, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Yeah.
So how has that transformed your relationship with your children, your daily life, and your relationship with yourself?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Well, I can think better. Clearly, I have more energy. I'm not nearly as cranky, I don't think. I laugh more. And I do other things that I dance more. I just really enjoy life so much better. Like I tell you what I think it is you learn how to feel.
I was just going to say that. Oh my God, I was going to say, do you think you feel more? Is that?
Totally. And when you first give up drinking, there is this period of time where your emotions just go nuts because you're so not used to feeling that you actually don't know how to process those emotions. So you'll go through these crazy highs, but equally just crazy lows. But that could be within 15 minutes. But that's totally normal as your brain's like, I've got to try and work out what to do. Because it takes 10 days for your brain, for alcohol to leave your body. So you've got to have quite a long time for that to peter out. But when it does, and you learn how to feel, it's so good. It's so good. Like I wouldn't miss a warm breeze on my skin for a glass of rosé ever. Like it's just beautiful. The world, has just so many beautiful things in it. It's great.
So tell a little bit more about some of your takeaways or wisdom that you gained from not drinking for how long now?
A bit over a year now. Yeah.
So tell us a little, we'll tell women who are listening to that, sort of what are your pearls of wisdom in terms of how do you learn to feel again? And how do you learn to feel comfortable with your feelings, and give this the chance to feel more? What do you gain from it? Because I know one of the things we talked about was one of the things you said is like alcohol takes away your vitality and your relationship with yourself. This is one of the things you said to me. And the other thing you said was it shaves off the day-to-day shine. It does your vitality. And
totally, because it's like you're trying to get away from the shitty bit of the day, right? But what you don't realize is that shaves off equally the great bit of the day. So you're kind of just hanging out in this numb kind of medial bit. And I know people are going to be watching this going, that doesn't happen to me. And I'm like, that's cool, because everybody doesn't want to hear it. And that's okay. That's okay too. But there might be someone out there who's like, oh, maybe. Takeaway points. You have this really unusual, deep remembering of the person that you actually are, which is really weird, because you're like, I didn't know that I was lost for so long. I didn't realize that I was in the personality of the alcohol for such a long time. So that was really interesting. So there I am. And that made me really want to do practices that really reflect the kind of person I am. So dancing is really important to me. So I was like, okay, I've got all this extra energy and I need to move it through my body, because I think that that is really important. And the most random, wonderful, feminine thing you can do is dance, because it's not structured, it's not linear. So I love to do that and to move all that energy through. And that has really profound effects as well. Yeah.
Has that helped you in processing your feelings and supported you in that journey?
100%. You don't realize how much you're like this, and then you drink and then you hold it. You just shut the shit. It's like when you drink, you just shut the lid on the emotion. So yeah, just any movement will help get that through your body, and you realize that you're like stiff here, stiff there. And I feel like that's really great. And of course, as a personal trainer, I want you to do all kinds of exercise, anything that you love to do. Yeah, so I think that that's been really amazing. But you will have to analyze the habits that you have. So there's had to be some, okay, so at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I want to have a drink. So I picked up the kids. What else? What else do I want to do? What else can I change to kick out of that habit? And that will be different for everyone.
So if you could give people some tips on how to stop drinking, or you could tell them how you went about those changes of habits. And because like you said, there's a trigger, right? Is it a trigger? Is it just that coming back home when things can be uncomfortable? What are your tips for people to, because you're just kind of going you gave us a little tip, but give us a little bit more of a framework, if you want, if you could suggest to people to approach it in a way, like what is the step one that someone needs to do to stop drinking? I kind of guess it, but I'll let you go for it.
Step one, you want to do it. Step one. Took me 2 years of being in a place where I was like, I need to stop drinking. 2 years before I actually then could actually put the glass down. So it was a long period of time, so that's okay too. That's all part of it. Step one, I danced for 3 minutes, anywhere between 3 and 9 minutes every day. Step one. That can be really confronting, but you'll be amazed, right? That change was very transformative. Step two, I bought a soda stream. So in the afternoon, I actually made myself like raspberry soda streams or whatever. I had a special drink instead of it being a mummy drink. I actually had something that filled that void. Does that make sense? That habit of wine, the fridge, whatever. I made sure that I had something. I tried alcohol-free champagne and stuff. It tastes like rubbish. So, but there's alcohol-free beers and stuff that are around. So, that can be a really good kind of gateway to doing that. And then I joined 1 Year No Beer. So I found that incredibly helpful, because when everybody says you're a social freak because you don't drink in Australia, it was really great to go on and find people all over the world who also were not drinking. And you're like, I'm not alone. It's okay. And so that was really important. That was fun. So
what does that stand for, and how did people find that?
One Year No Beer, you can Google it. It's a really big worldwide platform where people are giving up. You can do 28 days, you can do 90 days, or you can do 365 days, 1 year.
Uh-huh.
And I just logged into that and, you know, read people's stories over and over all day, every day, like every half an hour when I was like, I'm not coping. It's like somebody else, I'm not on my own. That I felt that was really important, that you don't do it on your own.
Mm-hmm. You need that community support, right? You need people
totally, because you feel like you're a
what
freak.
you want to do, people who are role models almost to you, so that you can see what's possible, and you stay accountable as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. You're like, I'm having a crap day. People are like, I understand. You're like, I'm having a great day. People are like, I understand. Yeah. As opposed to going, really? Because I just really think that I should drink rosé every day. Yeah.
So that was step 3, and then
that was it. And then I just white knuckled it. Just putting one day in front of the other, knowing that they would add up. And it's a slow process, and knowing that all the crazy emotions that go with that is just part of it. And then it's all a learning experience, and it has to be just gone through. But those things, danced every day, always made sure I had a drink that was a replacement. I still do. A year later, I still come home and do that. Yeah. And the other great thing is that your sleep will be so much better. Holy moly. People tell you that as a middle-aged lady that you suffer from insomnia. That's pretty standard, because it's kind of usually, they're like, oh, as you get older, you know, it's linked to menopause. Insomnia is a given. What they don't actually tell you is that as your hormones change, your inflammation goes up. So if your inflammation goes up and you add alcohol, which is highly inflammatory, you're not going to sleep because you're so inflamed. And then it's just this weird cycle. And everyone's like, oh, middle-aged ladies are cranky. You're like, that's because I'm inflamed and I'm tired. But if you take the alcohol out, all the inflammation goes down and your sleep cycles are so much better. So you just have this energy through the day, which then leads to more positive lifestyle choices, so that everything starts to just snowball. But definitely dancing and making sure that I had something else. Oh, I tell you what, a really great little saying when I first began, it's not like you're taking alcohol out of your system. It's that you're creating a life where you don't need alcohol. So it kind of is it's a little bit different, because we feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to be in any social situation or whatever. But you're just replacing it so you don't need it, so you don't miss it. Does that make sense?
I can think of other things, a few ways of seeing it. Is like you are connecting to your life force. So what you're doing is you are making the choice to connect to your life force.
Yeah.
So you're creating a life that is alcohol free, because you are, like Susan said, remembering who you are, who you were one day, who you were supposed to be if you let it.
Yeah.
And reconnecting with your feelings, with your feminine as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, so there's a lot of things you can focus on instead of focusing on what you are losing. Focus on what you are gaining.
Oh, focus on what you're gaining. 100%. And your nervous system will be so great. And then so much of that, I mean, I do work with Mel, who does the tray work, your nervous system work. It's incredible. And just layer upon layer.
Let's just rave for a bit. We are talking about Melissa Turnock.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I just want to say, because we want to give credit, because Melissa supports both me and Susan with our nervous systems, because for us to expand and for us to be able to hold space for our feelings, sometimes we need a little extra help as well.
Personal training for your nervous system.
Personal training for your nervous system. So you find Melissa on Facebook, Melissa Turnock Body Wisdom, or it's Body Wisdom Melissa Turnock. something like that. And she runs theory sessions, which are tremor sessions to help you train your nervous system to expand. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that that's also been important. And you couldn't do, I don't feel that it's honouring that work if you were numbing your nervous system every day. I don't see how that would work. So, yeah.
So compounding vitality, every day you are kind of banking vitality.
Yeah. Every day I'm banking vitality.
Every day you have compounding and banking vitality. So, you know, obviously you're going to have a longer life, more energy. You're also going to see things more clearly. And sometimes that can be a challenge because a lot of people don't want to see things clearly because they are avoiding what they're going to see if they do. So sometimes, would you say that you need to also, like, your self-care needs to increase in terms of, it's not just that you get a manicure and a pedicure and you see your girlfriends, but it's like you need to look at how you really take care of yourself. Like, what does taking care of yourself really is?
Yeah, totally. It's not just the external, it's the internal. If you look at my Instagram, I'm like a sunrise junkie. Those things are so important to me and to, you know, getting my vitality every day. And if I was drinking, I couldn't do that. And that's actually going out and looking at the sunrise is actually incredibly important. That's part of my self-care. Why? So yeah, realizing those things along the way has been really exciting. Like, yeah, that actually makes me feel really good. Obviously what I eat plays a bigger role, and I don't have that kind of wine chip kind of afternoon anymore. So that also is really helpful because then you're not waking up going, ugh, need a greasy breakfast. You're like, well, I just wake up and have whatever I have. Yeah, so again, those compounding things, and then you don't have to worry about your diet so much because you're not being whipped around by a whole bunch of alcohol affecting hydrate levels and all those kinds of things. So you're much more likely to eat good food.
Well, with both personal trainers, I mean, I'm not a personal trainer anymore, but I have majored in exercise physiology. And so we both know that alcohol is empty calories. So they basically, they add to your calorie intake, but they give you no energy whatsoever. They start straight into your liver. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's how it works. And so, and a lot of people tend to dismiss the contribution of alcohol to their weight gain as well.
Totally. I tell you, when you give up alcohol, you get these huge sugar cravings, and people then realize just how much sugar is in alcohol, because your body's just like, holy crap, I need all of this sugar. And you're like just scarfing down a whole bunch of stuff. And then you realize you're like, wow, we're going to stop with all that sugar. Yeah, so weight loss comes much easier if you're not slugging back teaspoons and teaspoons and teaspoons of sugar a day. Yeah. It's the biggest weight loss ever.
Yes, yes.
Really.
So good. I'm so happy we had this conversation. I know that this is going to be relevant to a lot of women. I know maybe you are just kind of looking at your alcohol consumption and wondering if that's a healthy amount. Not you, Susan, you listener. Maybe you are kind of, you clicked on this link because you thought, I wonder what she's going to say. And you're thinking, is what I'm drinking acceptable? And, what is acceptable anyway? Is acceptable according to who? How is it making you feel every day? Is it making you feel good? Is it making you feel numb and, shaving off your vitality? And so if you're listening to this, maybe just consider for a moment, is it time to stop? Is it time to go and see who you really are if you're not drinking every day or every second day or every third day a bottle of wine? And what can you gain from it? What life can look like if you choose an alcohol-free life and choose to go back to yourself? and have that relationship.
You can contact me. I'm on Facebook and on Instagram. You can find me. I'm Susan Whitby Training on Instagram, just Susan Whitby on Facebook. And if you want to talk more about this or get some other information, or we can do whatever. I'm happy to talk about it all day.
Remote personal training via Zoom. Why not?
Yeah, everybody does that these days.
Exactly. If you're not in Australia and you're in the US, you can contact Susan, can work remotely.
Yeah.
You can have that. I mean, she's got not just the experience as a personal trainer, but also the lifestyle medicine, is her specialty. And I know she's really, really passionate about helping people look into all these lifestyle factors and how it affects your life. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
If you like this episode, and if you got this far and you want to subscribe and check what the next episodes are going to be about, please subscribe to the channel and like it and share it. And I'll see you next time. Thank you, Susan. Bye.
Bye.
The Turnaround Talk Show and Podcast is brought to you by Marcia Tepperman. You can find me on my website www.marciatepperman.com.au, or you can connect with me on social media via Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to being with you again soon.